Someone watching this right now is standing on the edge of losing everything. You are about to hand over your home, your savings, your retirement, your sense of self to someone who does not love you. They love what you own. And you will not notice it happening because a part of you does not want to notice it. I spent 47 years practicing family law, divorce, prenuptial agreements, financial divisions. I sat across from more than 3,000 people whose lives collapsed because they ignored what I am about to say. Some rebuilt. Many never did. A few ended their lives. This is not soft guidance. This is a warning. If you are over 50 and considering a new relationship, if you are widowed or divorced and feel the weight of loneliness pressing on your chest, if you have begun talking to someone who makes you feel visible and desired for the first time in years, you need to hear this now. Not later. Now. Because the line between financial safety and financial disaster can be crossed by a single choice made in a moment of loneliness. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Patricia. That is not her real name, but her story is real. She came to my office in 1993. Her husband had passed away 2 years earlier after a long battle with heart disease. She had cared for him through it all, leaving her job to nurse him, watching him slowly disappear over 14 months. When he died, she was shattered, and quietly, shamefully relieved. The weight had lifted. She could finally breathe. She owned her home outright. She received about $250,000 from his life insurance. She collected his pension, $3, $800 a month.
By most standards, she was not rich, but she was stable. Secure. About a year and a half after his death, Patricia met a man at a grief support group. He was also widowed. They talked. He listened. He was gentle and attentive. He called every day just to check in. He brought flowers. He told her she was beautiful. He said the things her husband had stopped saying long before illness took over, things she had forgotten she missed hearing. 6 months later, they were engaged. Within a year, they were married. When Patricia came to see me, she had been married for 14 months. She sat across from me, barely able to form words. She had given him access to the life insurance money because he told her about a can't-miss business opportunity. He lost $160,000. She added his name to the deed because he said it made him feel like they were a real team. He quietly took out a home equity loan without telling her. She put him on her bank accounts because he said he wanted to help manage things. By the time she noticed, the accounts were nearly empty. He never hit her. He never yelled. He simply dismantled her life piece by piece while telling her he loved her. I got Patricia out of that marriage. It took 2 years and drained almost everything she had left. She ended up in a small apartment, living on Social Security. The comfortable retirement she earned was gone. She was 68. She lived another 19 years, never fully recovering, financially or emotionally. Every time I saw her at legal aid events, her eyes carried the same expression. Shame. Patricia is not an exception. She is typical. In 2024 alone, Americans over 60 lost $4.9 billion to fraud. Billion, with AB, romance scams accounted for over $1 billion of that. And those are only the cases that were reported. Most are not. Shame keeps people silent. What the numbers do not reveal is this: many predators are not strangers online. They are people you meet in real life, at church, in grief groups, through mutual friends. They appear kind, thoughtful, perfect. They are patient, calculated, and very skilled. You need to understand something called love bombing. If you do not know this term, you are exposed to it. Love bombing is when someone floods you with attention, affection, and devotion very quickly. Constant calls. Endless texts. Grand declarations. You're incredible. I've never felt this way. I can't believe I found you. It feels intoxicating. That is intentional. Romantic attention activates the same reward centers in the brain as addictive drugs. When someone love bombs you, they are hijacking those pathways. You crave them. You feel anxious when they pull back. You excuse warning signs because you do not want to lose the feeling. This is not love. This is control. Real love grows gradually. Real love includes friction. Real love allows flaws. Someone proclaiming forever after 3 weeks is not falling in love. They are executing a plan. Let me tell you about another client. I will call him Robert. Robert was a retired police officer. 64. Tough. Experienced. Street smart. Grief dismantled him anyway. His wife died suddenly from a brain aneurysm. No warning. One day she was making breakfast. The next day she was gone. He had never lived alone. He did not know how to cook, clean, or manage a household. His wife had always handled those things. He was lost. 8 months later, he met a woman at a bar. She was younger, in her mid-40s. She was fascinated by him. Asked about his career. His marriage. His loss. She cried with him. She made him feel understood. She moved in after 3 months. She did not have a job, she said she was between roles. No savings, her ex had taken everything. No car, Robert drove her without complaint. Within a year, Robert refinanced his home to pay off her debts. He co-signed a car loan. He gave her power of attorney so she could help while he worked part-time security. When Robert came to me, everything was gone. The house. The savings. The car, in her name. She had emptied his accounts and vanished. A man who spent 3 decades chasing criminals had been stripped clean. I could tell you dozens more stories. The widow who invested in a construction company that never existed. The widower who opened credit cards his girlfriend ran up to $80,000. The retired teacher who lost her pension to a fake military officer overseas. The stories differ. The method does not. Someone identifies vulnerability. Someone learns exactly what you need to hear. Someone becomes what you are looking for. And then they take everything. So how do you protect yourself? This is what I told every client before remarriage. First, keep finances separate. Completely. I do not care how deep the feelings are. I do not care if they call it insulting. Your money stays yours. Their money stays theirs. You may share household expenses through a joint account you both fund equally. But you never give access to your savings, retirement, property, or investments. If someone is offended by this boundary, that tells you why they are there. Second, slow down. Loneliness hurts. The desire for companionship is real. But rushing while emotionally exposed is like speeding on ice. It feels fine, until it suddenly isn't. And by then, recovery is impossible. My rule was simple: no major financial or legal decisions involving a new partner for at least 2 years. 2 years is how long it takes to see someone clearly. 2 years is how long it takes for masks to fall. Third, listen to the people who love you. If your children are uneasy, listen. If friends are worried, pause. If siblings raise concerns, take them seriously. When emotions are high, judgment is low. Outsiders see what you cannot. If everyone who cares about you sees a problem and you believe they are all wrong, odds are you are mistaken. Fourth, speak to a lawyer before marriage. Get a prenuptial agreement. It feels unromantic. It feels pessimistic. In nearly 5 decades, not one person ever told me they regretted getting a prenup. Hundreds told me they wished they had. Fifth, understand what evenly yoked means. The phrase comes from oxen pulling a cart. If one is much stronger, the weaker one gets dragged. Later in life, relationships require balance. If one person has significant assets and the other has nothing, the imbalance invites exploitation. Love does not disappear because of caution. But structure matters. Sixth, recognize warning signs. Constant contact paired with anger when you are unavailable. Rapid escalation toward commitment. Endless stories of being wronged by others. Requests to help manage your finances. Pressure to add names to accounts or property. Attempts to isolate you from concerned loved ones. Perfection that feels rehearsed. If it seems too good to be true, it is. Now hear this clearly. There is no shame in wanting companionship. No shame in loneliness after loss. No shame in hoping for love again later in life. These are human needs. But loneliness clouds judgment. Grief lowers defenses. And some people make a living pretending to be the answer to that pain. I am not telling you to avoid love. I am telling you to protect yourself. Someone who truly cares will respect boundaries. They will not rush you. They will not ask for your money. They understand you have something worth safeguarding. Pressure is not passion. Offense is not affection. Urgency is not love. It is a predator sensing hesitation. I practiced family law for 47 years. After retirement, I volunteered in elder law clinics. The same stories appeared again and again. The details shift. The weakness exploited does not. My own mother nearly became one of those stories. My father died in 1972. She was 61. A man began helping around the house. Attentive. Lonely himself, he said. He talked about moving in. Combining resources. Making life easier. I recognized the pattern. I stepped in. She was furious with me for months. But she kept her home. She kept her savings. She lived independently until 89. That is what I want for you. Independence. Security. Choices made from strength, not desperation. I am 91 years old. I have outlived most of the people I tried to help. I have had decades to reflect on what I witnessed. Here is what I know. Being alone is not the worst outcome. Losing everything you worked for because someone exploited your loneliness is worse. Spending your final years in poverty because you trusted the wrong person is worse. Dying with shame because a con artist said, "I love you," is worse. Protect yourself. Move slowly. Keep your assets in your name. Listen to those who have known you longest. Get a prenuptial agreement. And if someone watching this is already uneasy, if your instincts are warning you, call a lawyer tomorrow. Not next week. Tomorrow. It may not be too late. Do not become another cautionary tale. Do not become Patricia. Do not become Robert.